Good morning, friends. My name is Ashutosh Garg. I work as a solution provider with Furnace Improvements. Our company is in the business of revamping fire heaters. We convert your fire heaters to highest capacity, longest run length, and lowest emissions. This webinar today is born out of our experience in dealing with end customers for more than 40 years. This is our second webinar, and I welcome you all. Currently, the whole world is experiencing COVID pandemic, and I hope all of you are keeping safe and following all precautions. For the next hour, we will be talking about fired heaters. Fired heaters, as you all know, are one of the largest equipment in the refineries and chemical plants. They are very unique equipment. It is very easy to overfire a fired heater like a balloon. Any mal-operation in fired heater can be very expensive. They are also major consumer of energy in refining and petrochemical industry. So we are going to focus today on a new technology for increasing the capacity of fired heaters. And it is my hope that by the end of the webinar, when you go back to your units, you would be in a better position to evaluate the performance of your fired heaters. Learning is a continuous process. We have learned so much in the past 1 month while preparing for this webinar. So please don't hesitate to ask a question. Please feel free to share your experience with us. You are in the field working with fire heaters day in, day out, and know much more about furnaces. We are going to conduct this webinar today through PowerPoint presentation. We have been able to improve our webinars based on your feedback from our past participants. We request you to kindly complete the survey before you leave and send it to us. I will start the session with a brief introduction of myself. I'm a chemical engineer. I passed out in 1974 from IIT Kanpur in India. I worked in an ammonia plant for 2 years. And since 1976, I've been working on fired heaters and combustion systems. I have worked in KT India, Engineers India, and then KTI Corporation US. Since March 1996, I've been working at Furnace Improvements, fixing heaters for the past 24 years. So our presentation today will be for 50 minutes, and then we will have a 10-minute question and answer session. So please keep on sending your questions to us, and we will answer all of them at the end. So I want to start out by thanking our team in the US and in New Delhi, they have been working very hard for the past 4 weeks. Our team of process, mechanical engineers, admin team has been working and putting this presentation together. It is all their hard work which is you are seeing. I am just the presenter today. We want to make sure that everybody is able to log into the webinar correctly. I am showing you the slide for the, when you log in, you see this control panel and you can select the voice source. There is a question box available and you can keep on sending these questions at any time. You can minimize the control panel on your screen by hitting the top red arrow. We will make the webinar recording available to you in case you are not able to sit through the entire session or you miss any part of the presentation. If you are not able to hear us clearly or has a display issue, please send us a message and my colleagues will be able to take care of the problem. So I want to give you a brief introduction of our company. Furnace Improvements was started in 1996. We will be completing 25 years in business next March. We have 3 offices. The head office is in Sugar Land, Texas. We have an engineering office in Noida, India. It was started in 2005. We have about 35 people in that office. They are doing everything, process, mechanical, designs, as well as drafting. We are a full service heater company and we can execute projects on a turnkey basis, including erection. Our CFD office was started in 2014. It is located in Pune. Our CFD team has been working exclusively on combustion, heat transfer, and fluid flow problems. We have been working on improving the performance of existing fired heaters. More than 90% of our business is revamping fired heaters and fixing old fired heaters. We try to breathe new life in these furnaces. So our focus or our business model is working directly with the end users and trying to find out what are the issues they are experiencing in their fired heaters. And we try to provide them unique value-added solutions. We have a little bit of contrarian approach and we have challenged the conventional way of designing fired heaters. And today we will be presenting one of the approach, what we call a split flow. So we will be showing you split flow, which is basically parallel processing. And we'll be talking about it today. So one of our clients had a 4-cell platformer heater. I'm sure all of you know platformer heater or a catalytic reformer heater. The flue gas temperature leaving the stack was 1100 degrees F. Client did not want any air preheater or steam generation for improving the efficiency of the heater. They called the OEM and requested them to develop a proposal for efficiency improvement. The only option available was to preheat the feed in the convection sections. The heater vendor submitted a proposal for adding new convection sections for recovering heat for $6 million. The client called furnace improvements. They told us to look at the heater and develop an alternate efficiency improvement scheme if possible. They were looking to reduce the cost of the project. We reviewed the heater design and its operating data. We told the client that we can do this job for half the price. It took us 3 months to convince the client we could really execute the project at half the cost. And finally, they awarded the project to Furnace Improvements and we executed it successfully. We were able to reduce the flue gas temperature from 1100 degrees to 480 degrees. We improved the heater efficiency by almost 20%. This one heater alone made a big difference in their entire refinery EII, the Solomon Index. The capacity of the platformer heater was increased from 18,000 to 26,000 barrels per day. The efficiency improvement project paid out in 6 months. And this was the beginning of the split flow. Since then, we have implemented about this technology in about 12 heaters. And you can see on this slide a heater before the revamp and other side the heater after the revamp. And now the piping which you see on the right hand side is basically the split flow piping. So we are going to be talking today in this webinar. First, we will discuss the conventional approach to revamping heaters for increasing capacity or efficiency. Then we will discuss the new approach, that is a split flow technology. We will review the advantages of split flow over the conventional revamp. We are presenting a case study today where we saved our client $6 million. We revamped the heater for less than $1 million. In the end, we will have a question and answer session. I take this opportunity to thank all our clients for giving us an opportunity to revamp the heaters. And provide them with unique solutions. In several cases, the client installed our technology for the first time, so they were taking a big risk, but in most cases, it paid off. So I'm presuming all of you are familiar with fired heaters. I'm showing two sketches. The first sketch is a typical fired heater. The feed enters the heater in convection section, and then it goes to the radiant section, and then once it is preheated to the required temperature, it goes out. So the feed is heated in series, convection and radiant, and the number of passes in the convection and radiant section are the same most of the time. And this is the heater, the case study heater, which we'll be talking about. And you can see on the right-hand sketch, we have this feed in going at 611 degrees and going out at 720. It's a two-pass all radiant heater. Now we want to tell you that in radiant section, burners are fired, and the flue gas which is generated before giving heat is almost like about 3200 degrees F. Flue gas temperature leaving the radiant section is close to 1500 and 1600 degrees. Two-thirds of the duty is absorbed in the radiant section, and one-third is typically absorbed in the convection section. In the convection section, we are showing you boiler feed water coil, steam superheater coil. So it is a waste heat recovery system, and we are cooling the flue gases to 400 degrees before they are sent out to the stack. So this is basically what a typical heater looks like. So before we start discussing, I thought of talking about some very, very basic heat transfer and fluid flow parameters, correlations. And we will start with discussing the first coefficient, which is the inside heat transfer coefficient. Normally, we call it HI. And inside heat transfer coefficient is nothing but ability of the fluid to remove the heat quickly from the inside of the metal wall. And if you look at this correlation, the heat transfer coefficient is directly proportional to the mass velocity raised to the power 0.8. I don't want to make it too technical, but I just want to give you a little bit of basics. Especially, we'll be talking about what happens when we revamp the fired heaters. So as you can see, higher mass velocity will lead to higher heat transfer coefficient. Heat transfer coefficient is also inversely proportional to the diameter of the pipe or tube in which the fluid is flowing. That means for everything being the same, the heat transfer coefficient will be higher in 4-inch tube, and it will be lower in 6-inch tube for the same things. So smaller tubes are always better for heat transfer. In fired heaters, we are mostly heating hydrocarbon fluids, and these hydrocarbon fluids are prone to cracking and coking. So there is another parameter we want to talk about, and that is the film temperature. And film temperature is basically the film temperature rise is defined as the average heat flux divided by the inside heat transfer coefficient. And if you want to calculate the maximum film temperature, we are talking about maximum heat flux divided by the inside heat transfer coefficient. And as the film temperature increases, there are more chances of coking of the fluid, and you don't want any coking taking place in your fired heaters. So with that said, you want to keep the film temperature as low as possible in your fired heaters. The third parameter we want to talk about today is the pressure drop. And pressure drop across the heater is proportional to the square of the mass velocity. So if the mass velocity is doubled, the pressure drop will be 4 times. It is also proportional to the length of the pass. So basically, the higher the fluid has to travel, the more will be the pressure drop. Pressure drop is also inversely proportional to the diameter. And what it means is if everything being equal, 4-inch tube will have a higher pressure drop as compared to the 6-inch tube. So these are very, very basic correlations. And the reason I'm explaining these to you is when we work with our clients, we have an open book approach and we want to let you know what you are getting. Your job is to run the refinery and make money. Our job is to make these heaters as best as possible in terms of operation, whether it is a run length, efficiency, capacity. That's what we do for a living. So that's what we want to. We can explain all these things in an open book approach, give you everything. So let's look at the heater revamping. Most of the time, refineries keep on changing their feedstocks and operating conditions to maximize the product. Our experience shows that fired heaters in most refineries are never large enough and they are always limiting most of the time. Client wants to get more capacity from their fired heaters. The capacity increase in heater typically consists of two major requirements. Most of the time, it is the increase in the charge rate, and that increase in the charge rate could be anywhere between 10 to 25%. Many times, the heater inlet temperature is lower due to the falling of upstream heat exchangers. And this basically leads to higher heat duty because the outlet temperature is fixed. In some cases, the client wants higher vaporization, so that leads to increase in the duty, or wants a higher outlet temperature because they want to have more reaction. So that's basically how the increase or revamping of heaters is carried. So anytime you want to increase the higher duty or higher charge rate, it will lead to higher pressure drop, higher firing rate, higher flux, higher film temperature, and most of the time you will end up adding area either in the radiant section or in the convection section. So the conventional approach for heater revamping is there are two approaches. Option one, increase the number of fluid passes. You are increasing the fluid rate by 25%. You have a 2-pass heater. Hey, let's convert it into 4-pass heater. When we do that, the tube size is kept the same, and both convection and radiant section needs to be retubed completely. Now, you may ask a question, why not go from 2-pass to 3-pass or from 4-pass to a 5-pass? Why do we go from 2 to 4 or from 4 to 8? And the answer is most of the heaters, it is not possible to divide the coils symmetrically in 3 passes or in 5 passes. So that's what happens is heater vendors end up going in steps from 2 to 4, 4 to 8 to keep symmetry. It is hard to divide a convection section with having 4 tubes per row into a 3-pass. So that is one option. The second option is the client says, I want to keep my heater to be 2-pass. And we end up increasing the tube size. If we have a 4-inch tube, we go to 5-inch tube. If we have a 5-inch tube, we go to 6-inch tube. And this change is even more extensive, actually. Here, not only we have to retube the radiant coil, we need new tube supports. We need completely new convection section. We can't even use the existing convection section. So as you can see, both these approaches are very, very expensive, So you can see the typical schematics. What we have shown you is a 2-pass going to a 4-pass heater, or a 2-pass heater remaining as 2 passes, but increasing the tube size. So, and what I want to tell you is, I think if you're only looking for 10, 15, 20, 25% increase in the capacity or in the duty, both these options have downsides. And maybe the heater vendor never told you, the licensor never told you what are the downside of these modifications. So let us look at